Guess what time it is, Angela?
It's time for live.
It is time for a live stream. We're back. Sorry, it's been a few weeks. You might notice I'm in a different spot. I just moved houses, so completely different setup. Really excited to get back into doing these. Hopefully, back to one a week again. But for those of you who are new here, maybe on trial and decided to join the Switcher Studio 101 group, I am Dan Petrick. I'm one of the co-founders of Switcher and a senior product educator. And of course, with me here is Angela, who is our community coordinator and helps run a lot of the support here. So the goal of this live stream is to give you all some tips to make better live video and also as well answer any questions that you have. This is almost like an office hours, if you will, where we're here ready to answer questions. You guys can come in, put those comments below. I'm going to put a lower third up so people know what to do. Ask your questions right there, and we'll go through that stuff with you right now. We're trying to help you guys, like I said earlier, make the best live video possible, and one of the ways is answer those questions for you. So instead of having to email in, you've got two pros with you right now, ready to answer any questions you have. So cool. Let me, as we're talking, Angela, you want to, I don't know, talk about something? I'm going to make sure we're live. There we are.
Yeah.
I see it. We're live.
Yay, it says. Yeah, I want to kind of going off of what Dan just said, because we have noticed this with some of our past streams here. We always do a quick discussion on like a singular topic for about 10 minutes, and then we go through and answer your questions. Sometimes in the past, users will try to only ask questions pertaining to that topic of the day. In reality, you can ask any question you want. So it can be
Yeah.
about our topic of the day, or I should say of the week, since we do these weekly, or it can be about anything Switcher Studio related. So any questions you have, if you're wondering if something could work, if you're having any issues, put that in the comments. We will answer any Switcher Studio topic. It does not have
I
to be
mean,
our topic.
yeah, and it doesn't have to be Switcher Studio specific. We use all sorts of gear, know a lot about this stuff. So happy to answer any of your live streaming or video questions. If you want to ask us something else, I'm sure we can answer those as well, as long as it's not too personal or anything. I don't know. I'm a pretty open person. I've got little shame. I'll answer just about any question you throw
Same.
at us. But yeah, so one thing I've seen coming up a lot more frequently is talking about broadcast error messages. So that's what we're going to talk about today first before we get into answering all those questions. I should also say that you might want to stick around for a little bit because there could be a Switcher Studio update that's coming out very soon or could be out. Maybe not, and we can show you some of that stuff in there, before the official live stream on the Switcher Studio page. So just an added perk of being in this group. So yeah, definitely want to stay tuned and stick around for that. But yeah, one thing, especially around, a lot of times we see people go live on Sundays and they're running into this issue where a pop-up happens in Switcher and you see broadcasting error, connection closed by server. We want to talk about that, the different options that are presented to you, and how you can minimize the risk of that happening in the future. So first, I'm going to go ahead and talk about what this error is and what's happening, and then Angela's going to tell us how we can stop it from happening in the future. So when you are presented this error, broadcasting error, connection closed by the server, what happens is most of the time it's a hiccup in your networking and the connection from your internet and that you're using to stream and Facebook or YouTube, wherever you're sending your live video. If you tap on stop broadcast and recording, it's going to stop the broadcast or stop the recording completely, but the connection is still opened with your streaming destination. So if you stop broadcasting or record or stop recording and broadcast, and then tap the go live button again, you have about a minute to do that. You'll actually start streaming to that page again. Or that live video event. So that's a great way. Your viewers will just see the video buffer for a second or two, and then it'll pop right back in real time, and they'll be back up to speed. So that's a great way to, sometimes the network just drops down for a second and comes up, and Angela can talk about why that's happening here in a little bit. And when that happens, this is a great way to just go live. I can't tell you, it's happened to me tons of times. It's just a restraint we have with internet a lot of times. So it's going to happen to the best of us. You just roll with it and keep going. Now, for some people out there, you're not really as like the streaming side of it might be just an added bonus, but the recording is the most important thing. You want to have a full on recording, no breaks in it. And that's this continue recording option. So if you go in and you tap on continue recording when you see this broadcast, we're going to completely close the connection to the streaming and keep recording. So that means your recording will be completely intact. There will be no breaks or anything. Of course, with the stop broadcast or stop recording and broadcast, I keep saying it backwards. When you do see that and you do tap on that and then go live again, your recording is going to be broken up into two parts and the playback, and you might be missing like that 5 seconds that you're actually down. So those are the two options you're given. Of course, if streaming is the most important, stop recording plus broadcast, go live again. If you're more concerned about the recording, continue recording. So that's kind of the options that you're presented and what to do when you see those. Angela, do you want to talk about some things that could cause these issues to happen?
Yeah, so this is something that we see, unfortunately pretty often if you're new to Switcher Studio. It's not just related to Switcher Studio, but streaming in general, especially with the streaming service. A lot of times users don't realize it's, more robust to use Switcher Studio or another streaming service. If you've been going live, just from your phone onto the Facebook app or the Twitch app or the YouTube app. Those are a lot easier to go live to. They're a lot simpler. When you have in a service, you need that more robust connection. So, a lot of people will initially say, I have a high speed. Why am I still having this happen? And there's many other factors. I'm going to go over those pretty quick for you guys right now. And hopefully this will help you out if you are seeing those errors. So the first and, a lot of times the easiest is move your devices closer to your router itself. So even if you are in the same building, usually you are in the same building as your router or directly outside, try to move as close to that router as you can. If you notice maybe just one camera is shutting off and the production's doing well, move that camera closer to the router. It's losing connection. And that's going to be the quickest and easiest way to solve this problem. Another thing we see a lot is you're picking too high of a quality. So of course we want you to have the highest quality that you can, but it has to be what your network can handle. And the amount of cameras you have in use at one time can affect this. So if you're seeing, that 720p quality, that 1080p quality, and you're picking that, your network might need something like a 540 quality. And what we recommend is, especially if you're streaming to Facebook or RTMP, there is an option inside of our app itself where it allows you to optimize your connection. And this shows up when you're creating the event. And what it does is it runs a speed test inside the app and it picks what's best for your network at that time. So I recommend doing this on location, close to when you're going live, and with your cameras already connected, and it's going to pick the best quality for you. So if it detects you need, let's say 720 instead of 1080, it's going to suggest 720. Use that pick. It's going to help you to not drop it off. And again, if you do start adding additional cameras later on, it will increase the amount of bandwidth you need. So to add a camera, you might have to drop your quality. We do see people a lot of times write in and say, I can do, a 4-camera stream, no problem. I just added a 5th camera and now the broadcast, closed by server errors popping up, and that's what's going on. You either need to reduce that amount of cameras back down to something your network can handle for that quality, or just reduce the quality. And like Dan said, a lot of people do want the recording even more than the stream. If you use our director mode feature, you can set a lower quality for your stream and a high quality for your final recording. So even if you're streaming on, let's say, 540, you can have a 1080p recording later on to upload anywhere you need. A couple other quick things that can help with this. One is look at the equipment that you're using, especially the age of your equipment. So when's the last time you replaced your router, or you contacted your internet service provider to see exactly what speeds you were getting to make sure there wasn't an issue on your network? The devices you're using, how old are they? We've had, and we've posted this in some of our groups, we've seen the iPhone 6S and 7 are starting to have some issues with Wi-Fi, not just with Switcher Studio, but in general. Personal anecdote, I have an iPhone 11. My husband still has a 7. There are multiple times where I have full signal and he doesn't have signal. Like the 7s and 6Ss, unfortunately, are just starting to degrade. So if you're using those, especially as the main device, that can cause some issues. Same if your router is old, even if it's a good router, if it's several years old, that might be causing an issue as well. We recommend, it was called the Google Wi-Fi router. Dan, is it called Google Home now, I think?
I think it's the Nest router. That's what
Google
I'm using
Nest.
right now. If
Okay.
that means anything to anybody, I'm in
Yeah.
my basement studio in the new house. I have an access point down here. That's an old Google Puck, and I have one in the upstairs, and the Nest is on the main floor. So if you want a real world example, you're seeing a 720p. When I was setting this up, it said I could do 1080. I of course did a slightly lower quality just because it's the first official live stream from here, and I wanted to make sure that everything was good. But yeah, the Nest router is a great one. It's a consumer product. It's not like a professional or anything. Like if you wanted to get really technical, you could get some crazy stuff. You have to have the know-how to set it up, but I think that's a great option for just plugging in, easy setup, and streaming with.
Yeah, those are great products. We've, been using them for years in our homes, in the office. So definitely if you're thinking, my router is a few years old, I'm having some issues, try getting a Google Nest. That's one we recommend. Of course, if you're leasing, oh, hey, it's Will. Hi,
Yeah, I'm
Will.
just putting some comments up. We're going to get to all your
um,
questions here, guys, very, very soon. So thank you for putting those in there.
If you're leasing, a lot of times internet service providers will lease you a router. If you're leasing it through them, ask them, about upgrading. A lot of times they'll give you a new one free of charge. A lot of times they'll mail it to your house even, especially during today's times. So definitely check with them, get another router if you need. Again, equipment, make sure you're using your best equipment as your main device. Make sure your cameras, we recommend iPhone 8 and up for iPhones. A lot of the newer iPads are going to be great as well for that. Another thing to watch out for is any obstacles in the way, especially depending on what setting of Wi-Fi you're on. If you're using, a 5 GHz setting, which most routers have these days, you're going to have a much stronger connection than if you're using the more generic 2.4, which is the default on routers. And a good reason for that is a lot of other, products you wouldn't think about connect to 2.4 and use the same frequency. So if you have a microwave that starts going, if you have a fish tank nearby, if someone turns on a baby monitor, those are going to reduce the bandwidth because they're going to interfere with that signal. So try to get, a 5 gigahertz going if you can. If you can't get on 5, if you're on 2.4, try to reduce how many things are around you because that's going to, drop your bandwidth. Two other quick things. We have a list of recommended settings for your Wi-Fi router. If you're still having issues after all of the above steps, go through those settings. It takes just a couple of minutes, and then make sure you don't have anything turned on or off that can be affecting your internet. This is something, if you know how to log into your router, it's pretty quick and easy to do. If you don't worry. Contact your internet service provider. Let them know these are the settings that I need, and they can usually do those for you over the phone or over chat. The last thing I do want to bring up, if you have a way to use Ethernet. Of course, we want Switcher Studio to be fully mobile, so I don't want you guys to think this isn't going to work unless you have Ethernet. But if you do have a way to do Ethernet in like a stable setup, like you always are in the same office, you're in the same area, if you can wire at least Ethernet to your main device, that is going to prevent that error from popping up. So we do recommend using Ethernet when possible, especially for the main device. But using the above settings will help with your Wi-Fi connection. And a quick reminder, if you're using a mobile data hotspot, we do recommend contacting your data provider first, making sure you have at least 3 meg upload and no data throttling happening. And do remember the hotspots are normally not as strong as a private Wi-Fi connection. So you will want to run that in-app speed test to optimize. You're probably going to be on kind of that medium to low setting for quality, and you do want to reduce your amount of cameras. If you're out, in the field and you're using a hotspot, think of maybe just using the camera from your main device or one additional camera. You're not going to be getting those, 4, 5, 6 camera productions going with a hotspot.
So that's a whole bunch. I dropped a article as well in the comments from our help center that goes over this broadcasting error message and the options you have. You can search for more information. There's a ton of it in our help center, and it's a great place to start and to start troubleshooting. You can also, of course, email us at support@switcherstudio.com. Which I want to talk about because I see some questions coming in, and Angela, you kind of touched on these ones, in that Stephen here was asking, does your team know yet what is going on with so many users drop streams since 14.2? That's something we're looking into. I think candidly, our idea is it might be something to do with the older devices being used. We have not been able to reproduce it even with some of the devices we have. So, yeah, if you're running into these problems and you want to help us, and fix it, if you can reproduce it, set it up, let us know what devices you're using, and where, maybe even take a recording of, the issue that's coming up, and send it to us. Again, that's support@switcherstudio.com, and that information can help us get to the bottom of this problem. It's something we want to figure out. I think we're seeing a lot in the user group, but from our results, it isn't affecting that many people. So hopefully everything goes good for you and your streams. It does seem to be an outlier where it might occur. You might see some frames drop with your videos. So yeah, let us know your networking setup, all that stuff, and we'll be happy to help troubleshoot that and get to the bottom of it. But yeah, thank you so much for that question, because that we are seeing that, and we do want to make sure that everyone is able to stream the best quality possible. I see here, when will we see an Android version? Main switcher is always going to be iOS for now. We don't have it on the roadmap for an Android version. With Switcher Video Chat, you could bring an Android phone in as a source. So that is a way that you could use Android in a Switcher Studio ecosystem. Okay, Suzanne here had a good question. She is asking, is there a way to schedule a live to Facebook without doing it from Switcher Studio? Yes, you absolutely can. So if you go into, it's going to be custom RTMP is what you're going to need to do. Let me see if I can't just like show you how you would do this. It's going to take me a second to, I'm going to run SwitcherCast and bring in another angle here. Cool. I think we can show you this. So let me, sorry, I've got too many tabs open here.
Yeah, while Dan's setting this up, awesome. I was going to say, this was our original way to schedule, so.
Yeah, so if you just come in and click on live video, you can get some stream key options. So you see where it says use stream key here. There's a server URL and stream key. If you copy and paste those into the Switcher Studio dashboard, that'll sync automatically. You'll go to custom RTMP. That actually is a great article to check out on our help center as well, because we have all the steps there. If you just search for custom RTMP, you'll just take those values down there, input them into the dashboard, and then it'll sync automatically, and you'll be able to stream a scheduled live video to Facebook using not just Switcher Studio.
Yeah, and I do want to mention, because I have seen this a few times over the past week in our inbox for emails, whether you were scheduling through Facebook itself or through Switcher Studio, and this goes for YouTube as well, it needs to be within 7 days. So we have seen people recently where they're trying to pre-schedule for Christmas already. They're trying to get that stream going, and they're getting an error message, and that's because it is 7 days through those platforms, again, whether it's through our app or whether you're doing it through the website. So when you're doing an event, do remember, set a reminder if you want to do it as soon as possible on your calendar. It needs to be within 7 days. It's not going to let you do 14, 21, 28 days out.
Mm-hmm. That is very, very correct. Sorry, I was scrolling down to read some other ones here, but I want to get back up. Okay, here we go. Here's one. How do you get Facebook comments on your screen during your live stream? So this is Facebook only right now, but if you should see here. I'll show you. I can do this because I have a secondary device here doing iOS screen sharing. So let me make sure I get the right one. So this is my secondary device here. I'm just Switcher's open, but you'll see down here at the bottom there's this. I'll highlight it so you can see, but it's like the little chat bubble, I guess you call it. If you click on that, there's an option to load comments when you're live. When you tap that, they're going to start showing up in this list, and you just tap on it, and it's going to show it on screen. It's as simple as that. Really easy to do. Depending on where you're going, for instance, we're in a Facebook group, and because of Facebook privacy settings, I think I did one earlier where it just said Facebook user. It didn't say their name. That's because of their privacy settings, so that can't be shared. That's just gonna happen. It's fine. You still get to see the comment on screen, and it's cool.
Yeah, and just a reminder, because we do see this in our emails as well. The ability to pin comments is not for essentials. We just mentioned scheduling. That's also not for essentials. So when you're on a trial of Switcher Studio, we want to make sure you can test out as many features as possible. So you can pin the comments while you're on a trial. You can try out scheduling while you're on a trial. But when it's time to subscribe, if you do need those features, make sure to choose the standard plan or plus if you're using this for an enterprise use. We do see a lot of people say, the speech bubble is missing. I can't find it. And it's because we look at the account. It is on Essentials. If you have already subscribed and you're on Essentials, don't worry. You can upgrade to standard for a pro-rated amount. If you want help with that, feel free to write into us at support.switcherstudio.com. Just ask, how do I upgrade to standard? And we will walk you through that process.
Yeah. Thank you for adding that, Angela. I would have forgotten to say that, and we would have gotten some upset people.
No.
Don't upset anybody. I'm sorry. I saw another good question. I can't find it. Okay. Here's one. Can you explain more about director mode? Sure. So director mode is an option here. I will show you on screen again.
Dandy screen share.
Yeah, this is in the outputs tab. If you scroll down, you'll see this director mode, and I'll enable it. This warning is telling you just a warning about the differences between regular and director mode. Tap continue. It disables the built-in camera, so we can't use that as a source. But what we can do is come in here and change the composition format up to 1080, 720, so you can get a higher quality. What's great about this, so how director mode works is that device that is now acting as a switcher is only recording audio, and it's making what we call a journal file of all the cuts. So every time you switch angles, if you add a graphic to your video, a pre-recorded video, it's logging all those things and creating a journal file, as we call it. We're also triggering recording on all your other devices for the quality that you selected to be recorded in. So that so after the fact, all those files are going to be transferred from your remote cameras to this main device. And then using that journal file, we're able to compose that video again inside a switcher just automatically. So then you're left with a recording a lot higher quality. So you go out somewhere and you're only getting like 1.5 megabits of upload speed, and you know you're going to have to do a low quality stream, but it's better than nothing. You can still have a high quality to do something with after the fact. So director mode is super cool. It is a more advanced feature and something to understand more. We have a great video on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/switcher studio to get to that. And our help center also has a ton of knowledge on how to set that up as well. So 2 great places for that.
Yeah, and just a quick reminder on that. As Dan mentioned, it's a great feature. It is a little more advanced. One thing I always like to caution people is, you do, as Dan mentioned, have to connect all of your cameras back up. You can do that at any time. A lot of people think they have to do it immediately. You can go to like your home or your office. As long as you have all of those devices, you can connect them later and complete your composition. But something we do see is you need to have all of your assets still available. So do not delete anything really from the app until you do that composition. Unfortunately, we do see about once a month someone has deleted, an image file or a pre-recorded video or something, and then they get an error on the screen and they can't complete their composition. So make sure before you do any kind of deletions that you do complete that composition first, and then you can clean everything out. We don't want you to clean out lower thirds or anything and then try to do it, because it's going to give you that error message.
Yes. And I see Marcus here asking, do those files stay on the individual phones? They will stay on those phones, but after you transfer them over and you can compile them, go ahead and delete them off of those extra devices. So they're not just sitting there eating up space on those devices. But yes, they will stay. When you transfer them, it'll make a copy on the main device, but they will still be available on those other devices as well. I see Asia in the comments. That's another one of our team members. Hello,
Hey,
Asia.
Asia.
Thank you very much. She says, great job, guys. Asia is another person that you'll see if you write into support at Switcher Studio with your questions. She's another person who's in there helping answer those questions for you. Okay, here we go. Is there any possibility to show transparent PNG files? So PNG files, absolutely you can. Let me again switch back over to my trusty, I don't know if I have any, I think there's some built in here that we can use. So same way you'd add other files, we come in here, do the plus, come down to logo or text and graphics. So I'll do logo. And anything that's a PNG on your camera, any of your videos will show up here. But if you do PNGs, they'll have the transparency. I guess it's for all of them, really. Let me come in. Here's a sample. So I'll show you. This logo is a PNG. And as you notice, like there's the white behind it there, but it's not here. We can actually move it around the screen. I'm just dragging, pinch in and out to resize it. Once it's where you want it, you'll tap done. And just like that, we have a nice big... That I wouldn't make it like that. That doesn't look great, but it is a PNG overlay there that you can do. So great question. Definitely available in Switcher, and yeah, you can use it.
Yeah, the other way you can do it, which is great, especially if you have these PNG files on a computer. A lot of people will make them on a computer. You can import them into your Switcher cloud from your dashboard, and then that way they're synced to your account, which is great, especially if you don't know which device you're going to be using as the main initially. But you can also import them that way from the Switcher cloud too. So I do want to let you know that Switcher cloud is also an option. It's not available on trial, but it is available on all 3 plans.
Another good question here. Lisa is asking, how can I get all of my recorded clips in one location, lost internet, but Switcher kept recording? Um, Great question. Let me show you where Switcher, again, I'm going to go back to, I keep switching these two shots, but so here's Switcher. If you look in the very upper left-hand corner, there's like 3 parallel lines. Tapping on that is going to get you into your recordings. So that's just going to have all your recordings there. I just have a few here right now. But let me like say, man, this is from when we were in the office, Angela. How long ago was that?
That was mid-March
Crazy.
at a
Yeah.
max.
It's this February here, but what you can do, so I'm going to tap on it, and then there's the airdrop option, and that's what I like to do. I go open in, and I will airdrop it to my main device, and then get it into the switcher that way. So using the folders app or files app, I think it's called, if you open that, you can get your file and just drop it right in there. So great question. That's a great way to get all your devices in the same place. Boom, boom. I'm seeing people saying thanks. You're very welcome. I hope this is helpful to everybody. Uh-oh, this one's in Spanish. Let me see if I can get the comment to show up on screen so I can, so we can answer it. But see translation. Here we go. Okay, yeah, just saying when there's bad internet, you have to carry stuff to improve the signal. Yeah, or drop quality, use director mode are also options for fixing it when there's a lower quality. Thank you for that. Oh, that was I think Will in there saying that. Sorry, I'm reading. We're at the point now where I haven't talked in a while, and I'm having to read them as we're live. Oh, that was okay. Yep, cool. Got that one. Sorry, guys. I'm like all over the place right now. Love using Switcher. Can you help me figure out why my logo on screen is blurry and not clear? Sure, Matt. That could be a couple different things. Most likely, you're using a lower quality of the image, and then when you're dropping it into Switcher Studio, it's upscaling it and getting it blown out. I'd recommend trying to find a higher quality. If it's a big corporation or a company, if someone designed the logo for you, ask them for like a really high quality, and use that to drop in. You could also, if you have some problems and you know it's a high quality or something, email it to support@Switcher Studio, and we'll try and plug it in and see if we can figure out why it's blurry. But most of the time, it's just because it's a lower quality image.
Yeah, one thing I always recommend to people, especially if you're making them, if you're making your own, lower thirds or logos, it's better to make it way too big and shrink it when you import it than to make it too small and then have that pixelation when you blow it up. So if you're not sure exactly how big you need that logo, just go for the gold, make it as big as you can, and then when you import it, just like we saw Dan do, you can pinch to zoom and shrink it, and that way you still have that high quality.
Very, very true. That's a great point, Angela. I see here this Facebook stream looks a lot better than all of mine. I can tell you what we're using for settings, what devices we're using, so you can know exactly how we're doing it. Like I said, I'm using a Nest router for my internet connection. This is an iPhone XS I'm using as my camera. Angela, you just have a webcam plugged in, right?
Yeah, I've got I don't remember the model number, but it's a Logitech USB webcam, 1080p. I got it in like 2015, so it's actually kind of old. And I just have it plugged into a normal, laptop. There's nothing fancy on my laptop, just a normal HP PC. And I've got my laptop connected to Ethernet, and I've got an iRig HD mic too for
Yep,
my audio.
I'm using the same mic here. I love those things. And we're streaming at 720p. As the quality that you guys are seeing here, if you're watching it in the highest quality playback. I think something that Angela and I both have taken extra precautions on setting up, or just extra thought when we're putting together our setups. And something that makes videos go from looking pretty good to looking awesome is your lighting. So I don't know the best. I'm just gonna turn my camera around. Hopefully it doesn't, look awful or terrible as I do this, but I'm gonna show you guys. Here's the light setup I have right here. This is just a little ring light that I'm using. And it works really, really well for my needs, and it just lights things up really well. So yeah, taking extra thought into your lighting can help. Even just like if you are by a window, don't have the window be behind you, have that window facing you so that natural light is lighting you instead of the background behind you.
Yeah, I've got laundry still to be folded in the background, so I won't turn my camera. But I've got two lights on me currently. I've got, like Dan does, a ring light. Um, Actually a pretty poor ring light. I got like a $25 ring light and it does the job. And then I've got another light. It's just a standard room light that I got from Target for like 19 bucks. And I put a clear light bulb in it. And this is what it does. You don't have to buy a $500 light.
Yeah, just make sure it's the same light color and temperature, because if you have too many different temperatures and tones, it's not going to look as good. I'll tell you, my ring light that I'm using here is from iOgrapher. It's like the letter I and then Ographer, iographer.com. Maybe we could put it in the comments here, but Dave is great out there. He sent this one to me to check out, and I've used it for everything. It's great because it plugs into USB. So like if you're out in the field or somewhere where you don't have a power outlet, you can use like one of the Anchor batteries, like one of these guys right here. Work perfect for it, where you just plug in your battery, and you can also charge your phone from this as well. So they're great. I've been blown away with this light. I think it's one of the best things I've used in a long time. So cool. Yeah, that's like a little extra tutorial on lighting. So back to this, I see, is it recommended to use iPhone 8s or better for additional cameras and the possibility of less issues? Unfortunately, that looks like it's going to be the case. I always recommend getting the newest devices that you can or you're comfortable getting. And the reason I say that is because at some point, Apple is going to stop supporting them and stop pushing updates to their new iOS to those devices. And when that happens, Switcher will still work. They might work as remote cameras, but they're not going to be as good. So iPhone 8 is what I would recommend using in the future.
Yeah, I made this anecdote earlier, not just for Switcher Studio, but we were starting to see issues with iPhone 6S and iPhone 7 after iOS 14, including for any use. My husband and my mother both have iPhone 7s, and they've started to have a lot of issues with connectivity in their own homes with Wi-Fi. Whereas me on my iPhone 11, I still have not had any issues. So those devices, unfortunately, are on the way out. iPhone 8 is the minimum I would recommend. But again, like Dan said, if you're looking to invest and get multiple devices, I'd at least go with a 10, if not an 11 or a 12. And that way, you're going to get multiple years of use out of these. And another quick point, since this is the 101 group, a lot of people are getting started. You do not need a data plan with these devices. As long as you can connect them to Wi-Fi, you're good. So don't worry about buying a bunch of data plans. Please do not do that. Just if
Don't
you
do
can
that.
get a hold of the devices, you're good. Just connect them to Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Going through, I see just a few more here. We have probably another 5 minutes that we can be live. So make sure to get your comments or questions in before we have to wrap up here. Someone asking, how do I get Facebook comments on the standard plan? We went over that earlier in this video, but there's a little chat icon in the bottom right. If you scroll through, you'll see the chat icon. Tap on that and then tap load comments, and they're going to start showing up for you. Once you have to wait for your live to see those comments come in. Okay, I think I see that a couple times. Is an external webcam better than the webcam on the laptop? That's going to depend on the laptop and the webcam you have. So it's going to vary. The webcams that come on MacBooks are really nice. Of course, Angela is using the Logitech, the 1080p one. That's what I have as well and what I use, and those are great. If you can find one, I know they've been tougher to get now that everything's kind of gone online, but those are really good. Um, those are really good webcams. So really, just find what works for you. If you're happy with the quality on your laptop, then use that. And if you want something higher quality, go check that out and find the specs on the camera you have and find one that's a higher quality.
Yeah. And again, lighting plays a huge difference. If you want to
Yes.
give your, built-in camera a try, put some good lighting on you, and the results might surprise you. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Ace is on it.
Yeah. Um, sorry, I just put this one up and then you started talking. I'm gonna put it back up. 1080p is available. You can do it, especially with Facebook. So if you go to the Switcher Studio dashboard, so switcherstudio.com, there's a login option in the upper right. If you click on that, there's an experimental features and 1080p streaming is under there. So you can go there and enable it and check it out. Again, make sure that you have a fast enough internet speed to be able to stream in 1080p. Um, okay, I love this question here from Matt. I'm gonna put it up there, but it's gonna get cut off probably. Matt saying I'm a pianist vocalist and use Switcher for my live streams and use 4 to 5 cameras. I'm learning how to keep playing and switching to different cameras live. But is there an auto mode to maybe switch cameras just a few minutes each without touching the screen? Well, Matt, Switcher
Dun,
Studio
dun.
5.2 is coming out very soon and I think it might be available to some people now. But I'm running a beta version here because I don't have the official release here. But if I scroll over, there's this camera with some different options here, and you'll notice it says auto switch. This is something we've seen a ton and asked about a ton. So we've added. I have to add some sources though. Oh, I'm in director mode, so I need to turn that off. Let me get some things connected. I'm going to here. I'll put that up. Let's do. I'll just do a couple displays on my MacBook, maybe. But if I go back over here, you'll see you have the options to shuffle. So it's just going to randomly switch between them. You can turn that off, and it's just going to start scrolling through your cameras that are connected, and you can change the interval. So how long do you want it to be before those camera angles switch? This is coming very soon, guys, like in the next couple days for you. So definitely be on the lookout. There's going to be a full live stream on our Switcher Studio, the main Facebook page. So if you're not liking that and checking it out, check that out. We're going to go through all the features. I don't want to take too much away from that right now, but you asked the question. I've got to show it to you guys. This is a little sneak peek for you guys who are tuning into this live stream. So yeah, be on the lookout for Switcher 5.2 coming like now.
Yeah, just keep an eye on your app store. Apple does, kind of rollouts with things. So like Dan mentioned, there might be a few of you who already have gotten it as early as today. The rest of you over the next few days will get the rollout. So just keep an eye on your app store, install it when you get it. We're excited, you're excited. We will have auto switching.
Yeah, I'm gonna lightning around these last couple questions or some questions here. Um, First of all, I see Voodoo Child says this was very helpful, guys. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in and joining us here. We love helping you guys. Like I say it every single time we're live. Our goal is to help you guys make better live videos. So hopefully that's with Switcher Studio. We're experts with Switcher, so we want to help you. Can you guys look into a way to pause live videos? That's really interesting. That's not something we have on our roadmap, but if you have questions or features like this, you can email those to support@switcherstudio.com. Let me put that email up there. Get a lot of information there, or give us that information, and we'll get that to the engineers and see what's possible. So if you do have an idea for features, that's a great question. Support for full screen image on Switcher to adjust focus. You can definitely put full screen images in Switcher. If we just here, so I can leave this up, Angela. I'm going to go like this just so I can show it. Plus icon, photo library. Here, I'll just use this one. That'll just be a full screen image. So you can definitely bring in full screen images that way. Bring Angela back in. Do you have a link that explains how to bring people into your stream? Search video chat in our help center, and that's going to get you. That's how Angela and I are doing this live stream. A lot of information out there. I'm actually putting together something that's going to be out in hopefully the next week or so that'll explain. There's something you can give to your guests to make sure they're ready to join, and how to join your live stream as well. So we'll say, yeah, new update available today. It will be starting to roll out right now. So what's the latest iPad version for good image quality on Switcher? I think you mean probably the oldest version. Anything that's going to be able to run the latest iOS is what you're going to want to use. Like that's the lowest you're going to want. The secondary iPad that I'm using as screen sharing, and I use that a lot for productions as well. That's like a 2016 model iPad Pro. But yeah, anything that we're on Switcher iOS 14 right now, any device that you can run that is what I would recommend. So yeah, people just saying perfect, thank you. I see. Will there be a scrolling lower third? If you search, there's ways to do it. It's not directly in Switcher Studio, but if you do screen sharing and have a scrolling lower third show up either on another iOS device or on your computer screen, you can have that scroll across using a multi-view. I feel like we did that recently, Angela, in one of our other live streams where we went through that. So, but I know that the information's out. You can also check our help center for information on that. But yeah, we try and keep these to about 45 minutes. So we're just going over a little bit. So yeah, that's going to be all the time we have for you all now. Again, for Angela and I and the whole Switcher team, we're really excited for what's coming out with this new release and what's on the horizon. So make sure to stay tuned for all of that stuff. Again, if you have questions, you can go to support.switcherstudio.com. That's our help center to get answers. Email us at support@switcherstudio.com. The 101 group is another great spot. There's you can use the search function on the side, or just ask your question, like make a post and ask it, and we'll be in there helping answer questions there as well. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be on the lookout for a live stream on our main Facebook page coming very soon. So yeah, we'll get to that. Angela, anything else?
That's about it. Like Dan said, don't be afraid to ask questions. Email us, put in the 101 group. We're here to help you out, no matter how simple you think a question is. Just ask it. We don't bite. We're friendly. We want to help you make better live video.
Yeah. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in, and yeah, we'll see you next week for the next one of these.
See you guys.